Howdy, welcome back to Rowdy Homestead Ranch. Today we're going to hang out in the garden area, tidying it up after a year of letting it sit due to life. We're going to work on the compost pile, pull weeds, and top off the beds. Here you can see TBK and our son picking up aged donkey manure piles to add to our compost pile. Meanwhile, I'm in the background cleaning up different trash from the garden area. In the corner, you can see part of our movable livestock shelter / nursery that TBK made with our sons. The top half of the sides go up to give extra shelter from a thunderstorm and shade in the heat, or they go down in the winter to protect from winter winds. They are using our awesome Rubbermaid cart. It's both sturdy and very stable. I like it much better than a wheelbarrow. A square transfer shovel, a bedding fork, and 2 types of rakes to gather those piles up to make it easier. TBK is using our Kubota tractor model L2501 with a custom-built ballast attached to lift the compost pile. You can see our winter fire ashes on top, but it also has our baby chick bedding with their manure in there as well. However, the pile itself has been sitting for a while, so we need to pick out the grass and the weeds. So he's going to dig very deep to get to the roots. It's a very windy day today, so instead of standing downwind of all that dust, TBK has me go back to weeding and trimming up our grapevines. I only trimmed the vines that I didn't want, and I lightly trimmed the ends that I did keep since it's basically spring here. All the grass we picked was gifted to the animals and promptly devoured. We use our tractor to flip our compost pile regularly when we are tending to our garden to make the job go easier and faster. When we do so, I or one of our sons will use the hose to moisten the soil as he's flipping, which activates the microbes in it and helps it to break down faster. Ideally, we would do it weekly, but if life gets in the way, we at least do it monthly. We add garden waste like dead or dying plants, ashes, animal carcasses, food scraps that don't go to the large animals. Last year, our chickens were free-ranged in the yard, so I would add their scraps directly to the pile and encourage them to pick and scratch at it, helping to break down the pile faster. We would then regather the soil with the bucket of the tractor, moisten it, and continue. They loved it, and it really helped break it down faster. Once done with the grass pulling, it's time to add the manure and some leftover garden soil that we had purchased over a year ago and needed to use up. The container itself is too bulky for the bucket, so TBK wraps a chain around it and attaches it to the bucket, which keeps it balanced in there. This is similar to how he moves big rocks around our property. Usually that container is used for holding baby chicks, and it works great for that. Once the chain is removed, it's time to mix it well. He makes this look so easy. He used to work on a larger ranch years ago, and he got really skilled with driving tractors and pulling trailers, and he's a whiz at it. It is not easy what he does though, but he is so good at it. Once he thoroughly mixes it, the guys join me in weeding the raised beds. Currently we have 13 larger raised beds with cattle panels between as a trellis, and a row of smaller beds for herbs and the grapes. These are all done in the hugelkultur method. We are replacing the soil that's been lost to the plants as well as settling down over the years. TBK is removing old pine needles we used for mulching, which will be replaced with fresh pine straw. Here he's pulling up our drip irrigation to break up the soil using our Ryobi tiller attachment for the weed eater. And as you can see, it works really well. We love it. He wanted to loosen up the current soil before adding the fresh mix to make the mixing of the two easier. Look, you found a big old beetle. Down where we are, the intense sun will kill off our crops, so we have opted to put in our garden where there is some shade provided to block the sun from the west, and it has helped a ton. This bed we put in to try growing strawberries, and it did fairly decent for our first try. Then we added to the back bricks some morning glory to grow up the fence. It looked really pretty. The fence was put up to keep the chickens out, as well as the large animals when they're hired as lawnmowers. The ducks that we had, however, found a way in anyway, the little stinkers. Here we are taking soil from one bed that has way too sandy of a mixture. We had left it when we were overwintering some plants there, and now it's time to freshen it up. So we're spreading it out amongst other beds before we add fresh soil. Now it's time to add the soil. We're using the same Rubbermaid cart because we can fit it between the garden rows. We bought it specifically for that purpose and measured out to make sure it would fit. It's been great. And it's awesome to have muscles to help haul that load around. As we're adding soil, we pull out rocks. To the left, we planted a Mexican sycamore to add some extra shade, but it's time to trim up some of those pesky lower branches. Everyone gets to work getting things done: shoveling, tilling, hand tilling, smoothing, picking out rocks, breaking up clumps. More hands make the work lighter.
Hey,
continuing the smoothing of the soil, looking for rocks and breaking up those larger clumps, watched by my shadow Winnie, while the guys are hard at work. TBK is asking how high I want the dirt to go, so I come over to Lind and then I get back to work, breaking up more clumps, etc. I see they're getting close to our volunteer cilantro, so I bring my garden cart over to manually add soil around them. TBK gets to manually mixing the bed, while our youngest uses the tractor to get more soil. Giving his brother a break, he takes over tilling for a bit. You can see the animals in the back looking for garden treats. Back there is where we usually give tomato plant cuttings, carrots, Swiss chard, whatever we have on hand to treat them with. They love it. Now that the dirt is added and combined, we're adding the soaker hoses back to the beds and calling it a day. What a lot of work, but so satisfying seeing the beds all cleaned up and ready for a new year of planting. Stay tuned as we work to rehydrate the desiccated soil to prepare it for seeds, as well as prepare our in-ground beds. Thanks so much for hanging out with us in the garden today on a rare, cool Texas day. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more Rowdy Homestead Ranch content, and we hope you have a blessed day.